Hey everyone, this is Tamimi from Solace. Today I'm going to show you a demo for a real-time RAG using the Solace Context Mesh and the Solace AI Connector. In today's demo, what I will show you, I've built a simple front-end client that is a simple chatbot that does a query to the context mesh. I have my Solace AI connector that subscribes to that query, and it is configured with an LLM model that generates a response based on the context that this Solace AI connector has access to. The context is simply populated in a vector database. I called it the context database that um, is used by the Solace AI connector to generate the response. This demo will also showcase how a stream of events flowing into the context mesh, regardless what stream of events you have, will be used to enrich the vector database with the context. So the Solace AI connector is also subscribed to the topic that the stream of events is being published on. There is a custom component in the Solace AI connector that enriches the database with the data for context generation. In this demo, I'll be using a fraud detection use case for a bank where there's an application that constantly generates data about any fraud that is being detected. To generate this fake data into my context mesh, I will go ahead and use my feeds site at feeds.solace.dev, which is a list of community authored feed of events. One of them is a fraud detection application. So what I will do, I'll come here, connect my fraud detection application to my context mesh, which is a local broker that is running in my machine. I'll go ahead and choose a stream. So this fraud detection application only has one stream, which is the fraud detected. What I will do for now, just to see how the payload is looking like, I will publish one message into my context mesh. This message has the following payload in it. So you can see that there is a key in the payload that has a description for the incident. So for example, this randomly generated message has this incident description of invoice transaction at this particular shop with a card ending with this number. So this is kind of what the description of the incident. So let's go ahead for now and go back to my diagram. So you can see here, I'm going to spin up the Solace AI connector, connect it to the context mesh, and configure the connector to subscribe to the stream of events that is flowing into my mesh. And for this particular use case, the streams are being published on this topic. So I will go ahead and copy this topic subscription and come back to my terminal to spin up my Solace AI connector, and I'll configure it with the RAG configuration. So right now, what I just did is I've spun up the Solace AI connector. It is connected to the context mesh with the right subscription, and I will go ahead and connect my chatbot client into the context mesh. So what I have over here is a simple chatbot that I connected it to the context mesh. And for now, let's go ahead and ask some questions for the Solace AI connector. So let's say that I want to ask, give me a summary of all incidents descriptions in my system. If I go ahead and ask this question, the response is what I've expected, that the Solace AI connector that is configured with the LLM model will generate a response saying that, hey, I don't have enough context about the data about incidents in your system. So the Solace AI connector does not respond back with any unwanted solution. So now that I've configured this end-to-end interaction, let's go ahead back to my example. In here, I want to publish 50 messages at a rate of 10 messages a second. I'll go ahead and start it. So what's happening right now here is my application is publishing a stream of events into my context mesh. And now if I come back to my chatbot, ask the same question, let's go ahead and see what the response is for this. So I'm asking the Solace AI connector to give me a summary of all incident descriptions in my system. We're waiting for a response to come back from the Solace AI connector. And there you go. Based on the context, here's a summary of all incidents. So it tells us that there's a one invoice transaction at this particular store, and it gives me a summary of all the different descriptions that I have in my context database. So if I come back here and say I want to publish 200 messages into my system at a rate of 10 messages a second. So right now you can see that the events are flowing into my context mesh. I can go ahead and ask the same question again. I should be expecting a different answer only because right now the context is being populated with new data that is coming in real time into my system. So now the LLM model is querying the context database. It is generating a response. And right now we can see that I have a different response and a different description based on the data that I have in my system. And I can go ahead and interact with my data using different questions that are specific, that are domain specific to my use case, and get the response for this. And there you go. This is a demo for real-time retrieval augmented generation example using the Solace AI connector and the feed size to generate data, fake data into my context mesh. Thanks.